going on?
This is my best Joshua Schaffern impersonation.
I smile.
I feel like I have imposter syndrome right now. Now, this is going to be an interesting little video today about being yourself, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and being proud of it, you know?
That's right. That's right. So we've been training a small group of budding internet entrepreneurs who are building the online business of their dreams based on their passions, based on their interests, based on the things they really want to be doing with their lives.
And what they stand for sure, you know, like what they stand for in the world.
And we've seen a recurring theme. And it's not surprising because, Joshua, you and I have both helped, between us, hundreds of thousands of paying clients and customers begin this journey on building a online virtual business based around their passions and interests. I mean, between all your work with Income for Life, all your work with NPod, all my stuff with List Building Club, List Pros over the years,
right?
It all dances around the same topic, right?
For sure. Yep.
And during our training today, one of our clients, it was just his time to bring this topic up. Every single one of our clients has brought this topic up. And I wonder whether this is true for you guys, is when you're thinking about getting out there and creating content, whether you're going to be doing Facebook Lives or writing blog posts or doing podcasts or getting up on stage and speaking publicly, have you ever bumped your head up against this idea of imposter syndrome or feeling like, who the hell would ever listen to me about that anyway?
Yeah.
Who am I to talk?
Yeah, when I'm too young, then I got to get some experience and have some success under my belt to have the credibility, and then I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z.
That's right.
And when I'm coming along and I'm too new at it and I'm now too old at it, who's going to listen to this old fart? You know, like that type of approach. And you know, I think where people get stuck, you know, like we talk about the audience first approach to, you know, like building your audience first and then, you know, creating value for them and influence, and then using that pent up demand to market additional things at their service. I think where people go immediately is they're still stuck in an element of, you're going to write from old fart.
I'm going to write an email from old fart. It's going to be great.
So I think that where people get stuck is they're still thinking about like, well, who's going to pay me for advice on this subject that I'm really passionate about, that I'm really interested in? Who's going to, you know, how am I going to make money with this? And that's the wrong question to be asking themselves. And it's unnecessary.
Or maybe it's the wrong tone of voice. So watch this. How am I going to make money with this? Versus, how am I going to make money with this? Right? Little classic, same words, different feeling, right? Different attitude.
But if you're starting and you're leading with the audience and you're truly putting them first, and your job is to create relationship and value, the part that I think people miss is that there's immense value created when you give people a place to plug into, that umbilical cord connection to plug into that they enjoy being. That has immense value, someplace to call home.
That's right. It's right. It's like, you know, it's like the favorite bar that you always go to. It's like the trail.
Right. Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
right?
or it's like the trail that you always go for a walk on when you need peace of mind and you need to clear your head.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't necessarily mean other people, but it's that place. It's a connection.
Right. And it's a place where like you can gather with other people that are just like as crazy and nuts and weird as you are. you know?
Yeah. Hot sauce conventions, baby.
Yeah.
Hot sauce conventions. So good.
Or, you know, internet marketers that love hot sauce, you know, I mean, like, you know, I mean, or the subset thereof. So, you know, and the idea that you have to be this status driven, credible, instant expert on whatever subject that you're doing, because that's how you're going to get hired as a consultant. That's not the point. So like, I think it's really valuable for people to really get this from a standpoint of like how you did the summit model with List Crusade. And Andrew Hussey just asked like the brilliant question of, where does credibility come from?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So let's chat about that. Andrew, what do you feel it comes from? And I certainly have my opinion, as does Talman. Are you asking from your own point of view? Or are you asking because you're really curious? Or what resonates for you with that credibility?
I think that there are several ingredients to credibility, and they can be used in different ratios, right? It's like, where does pizza come from? Well, there are a lot of different ways to make pizza, just like there are a lot of different ways to make credibility. They all have something in common, right?
Where do babies come from?
Exactly. So let's just bounce back and forth some things that helped create more credibility. So one is consistency. Basically, you showing up in front of the other person on a consistent and reliable basis. That's one ingredient to credibility. What do you got, Joshua?
Well, Andrew just responded with, from yourself. Credibility comes from yourself. Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that you can do is exactly what Talman talked about right off the bat with, like, what's your shift in tone of voice? Like, if you believe in yourself, then it's there. And credibility doesn't have to be, you don't have to be above everybody else. You don't have to suffer from the expert paradox where you are so far advanced from who you are looking to influence and lead. You can be just like them, and you can share openly that journey, and be real about where you're at and what you're struggling with personally, and authentic. Be authentic to who you are and what you're dealing with, and quit trying to be somebody else or act like somebody else.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, it has to come from within, but sometimes you have to convince yourself that you're credible too. And so it's like, one piece I think is humility and vulnerability in terms of, you get a lot more. So admission.
What's up, Max?
Admission of flaw. So if you don't know what the hell you're talking about, definitely don't try to pretend that you know what you're talking about. It's like, number one. Number two, if you're aware that you don't know what you're talking about, like, don't blow smoke up people's ass. Like, it's just not going to help you.
Yeah. And it's very transparent immediately that people don't buy into it.
But at the same time, it's really great if you encounter a situation where you genuinely don't know the answer, don't know how to handle it, are unsure of yourself. When you're willing to admit that to people, all of a sudden your trust and rapport goes through the roof.
For sure.
Because they know you're not just there to try to impress or feel good about yourself.
Well, I mean, when somebody is being real, I mean, let's face it, when you're an entrepreneur and you're a solopreneur or a freelancer, or, you're in the rainmaker game. And by the way, Andrew says everyone looks outside for credibility and never finds it there. I could not agree more with you, Andrew. And where they, I lost my train of thought. What you were saying something, Talman, and
vulnerability and being willing to just basically share your flaws, share your inadequacies or weaknesses in a way that you're like, hey, this is something I still need to learn more about, or I need to work on this area myself. That's a great question, but I'm not the person who can give you a confident answer on that.
I got it. I mean, the vulnerability portion of this, when you can own up to your shortcomings.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we all have weaknesses and shortcomings, and are not great at everything that we do.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Exactly. But you hear people like put on this show about like, everything's great. I'm awesome. I never have a down day. I never do this. And in reality, anybody that's truly been in business and had any lasting success knows that you have many, many more failures, quote unquote, failures than you do successes. And if you don't embrace that and you don't prepare people that you're trying to, bring along and help and coach and mentor on the journey, then you're doing them a disservice because A, they probably don't believe you anyway. And B, their expectations are set for this, overnight success bullshit. And, people on the outside surface may look as though they have instant credibility and overnight success, when in reality, they've been building it up for a long time behind the scenes and creating it. And just one more thing that I want to tie into what you were saying, that the halo effect is one way that you can borrow other people's credibility and still be vulnerable and open and honest and authentic about, your what you're looking to accomplish, your shortcomings, what your interests are. And that kind of dovetails into your, the way that you built out List Crusade in the very beginning.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And again, that's not the only way to do this, but it's a great example. It's a great example. So one of the other ways that when we talk about building credibility, it is interesting because there is internal credibility and alignment and belief in oneself that is not, where you're not just pumping yourself up, where you actually have genuine self-confidence. And as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and as someone who's out there building a following, how you look in the eyes of others is exceptionally important. Otherwise, you're not going to make any money. They're not going to buy from you. If you don't have credibility, if you don't have trust, if you don't have connection, if you can't help them, if they don't believe that you can help them solve their problems and achieve their dreams.
If you don't have respect.
Yeah.
If they don't respect your opinion and guidance on a particular subject. And frankly, the easiest way to gain respect, not with a technique or a, manipulation, but is as a genuine way, is to be, transparent about the challenges that you've had and how you've tried to overcome them and haven't been able to, as well as how you were able to overcome things where that's real. Yeah. And people sense that authenticity immediately and know it. And that's credibility. Big Even time. If you don't know the answer, right? Being able to admit that is, that brings legions of respect for who you are.
So one big piece, if we apply this directly to internet entrepreneurship, right? How can you build more credibility? How can you build more trust? How can you build more respect? And at the same time, build your following, build your list, and build your audience.
Right.
Right? How's this done? Well, I want to give an example of a absolutely awesome guy. I've talked about him before. His name is Hank Lang. And Hank Lang is a local guy here near me who is a fitness trainer and teacher and coach. And he trained me for Run, Tellman, Run. He trained me to run barefoot across America. He is not a barefoot runner. He's not even an ultra runner, but he's trained people to, swim across oceans.
Hi, Gene.
Extreme triathlon related stuff. He's been a hardcore race-winning endurance athlete his whole life. And I'd say he's probably in his 60s now. For something like 35 years, Hank has been running Tuesday morning track workouts every single, now maybe it got interrupted by COVID a little bit. I suspect it did, but every single week at 6 a.m. for decades, he's shown up and he's put in the time and the practice, the energy, the effort, the consistency to show up and give to the community free track workouts for anyone that's willing to get up before the sun comes up and go out there and work out with him, rain or shine, year round in Vermont. Okay?
Yep.
Bad ass. So this guy is awesome. So in the meantime, what he does is sometimes he runs either ongoing or like 8-week groups for people who are looking to achieve something specific, like people who are looking to increase their marathon pace. You know, he might have a whole workout set up to help people increase their pace for their next marathon, or if they want to get good at mountain running, or if they want to get, you know, whatever. And people pay him for that. People pay him as like I paid him an enormous amount of money over many months to train me 3 times a week, you know? And so showing up consistently puts him in the pole position within driving distance for anyone who is the absolute expert in endurance athletics, triathlons, etc. Like, everybody wants to work with Hank, and with good reason, right? So in terms of building credibility, one way that you can start today is create great content on a daily basis for your audience.
Yeah. Great.
Really good. Really good way.
And, you know, like what we're working with a bunch of our clients on doing is leveraging where influence and trust and respect already exists, and playing in those arenas. And so, I mean, just like what we're doing right now with this live stream and the continual live stream, and albeit for the last week and a half or so, we haven't been as consistent as we normally are on our daily regimen. But when you show up and you continue to have, you know, to deliver, but then also by working within that and understanding that ecosystem, so to speak, where you've got a certain amount of credibility because you're doing the live streams, and because they're starting to get some traction, and you're building a little bit of an audience. And if you try too soon to move them, you know, off into, you know, selling them something, or, you know, signing up for some lead magnet or something, it's still easier to, you know, serve them where they're comfortable. So in this case, it's like with a Facebook group, and where they can stay there. But if you simultaneously, I mean, your goal is always got to be to build your communication channel, your hub, which is, you know, in my opinion, your email list. Nothing is ever going to replace that. Well, I shouldn't say nothing ever, but for the foreseeable future, it hasn't changed for me since 1997 when I first started. And I don't see it changing on the horizons anytime soon, no matter how great the external. So, I mean, my goal is always to use this to feed into when the audience is ready to perceive enough relationship with me, to perceive enough trust and respect with me, to be able to take my recommendation to join my email community, so to speak. And, you know, when they're ready, I'm ready for them. I'm, you know, and so that type of stuff. Oh, Jack has got some good stuff, and Andrew's got some more good stuff. Awesome.
That's right. That's right. We have all sorts of good stuff. So Andrew, I would like you to pontificate a little bit, like give us a little bit more elaborate on the 2 identities that need reconciliation, and why you even need to do that. Why can't you just have 2 identities that talk every other day on Facebook Live video? You can do like an angel and a demon on your shoulders. You don't have to necessarily reconcile them. I want to know what you're fighting.
But I do think, like, personally, that this is what you were talking earlier, and I went like this, and there's a certain amount of balance. Like, you've got to have enough confidence and belief in yourself, but also you can't wait until you have that epiphany of perfect, you know, clarity and aha, you know, where all of a sudden, you know, it's all clear. And not only that, everybody instantly gets who you are because you've now had that snap. You've got to be willing to get into motion before you fully embrace it and become that person that you're looking to be, but not act it beyond what is, you know, like trust that you are bringing value, and at a certain point, you know, take some action, get in the game prior to feeling comfortable.
That's right. Yeah. And expect to feel more and more and more uncomfortable as you improve along the way. Yeah. That's right.
This is I'm learning quite a bit here. I didn't know what guile meant in Hebrew anyway, and I really don't think I knew what guile meant. Do you want to field this one or but
yeah, I'll read it. All right, Jack. Let's see what you got. Jack says credibility is crucial to create confidence and trust. By the way, Jack, we were just talking about you earlier today with our NPod. Yeah. Credibility is crucial to create, that's a lot of C's, confidence and trust and income. Jesus Christ taught us to be without guile. I want to point out that I'm reading Jack's comment right now. These are not my own words. The word guile in Hebrew means mask. We should not hide anything, including our strengths. So we should all be without guile or a mask.
Yeah, vulnerable.
We should not hide
authentic
anything, including our. Oh yeah, sorry, I just reread that. That was important. That's why I reread it. If you want to become a black belt in karate, you have to learn from a black belt, not a green belt or a blue belt, but a black belt. It's good. Black belt creates instant credibility. So being without guile or being open and honest is extremely important to create trust and generating income. You guys are black belts in your area of expertise. That's such good advice, Jack.
Yeah.
What's up? Like, never, like, if you want to lose weight, don't talk to a fat person. Like, you know, like, seriously. Wrong.
Yeah, Randy Gage has a great quote, is that, stop taking advice from broke people.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, are you going to ask like a homeless guy how to be a millionaire? Probably not, and it's a very important, like, never take marketing advice or business advice from your friends who've never even like had the guts to even consider starting something, right?
And something else, I don't know what triggered this in what Jack's statement said that was so profound, but it just occurred to me, like, we used to talk about, like, when you were a platform speaker, the fact that you're standing on stage gives you that immediate boost of credibility. Yeah. And so does doing live streams.
Totally.
Right. I mean, like, just the fact that you have the guts to do it, people immediately assign a different mind share, a different space in their head about who you are.
It is so freaking funny. So you've been doing this longer than me, but I've been doing this for 17 years. And so, like, I have as you do.
Call me old.
Old fart. I have a bunch of friends who've been in the internet marketing, direct response marketing, online game for a while. And who are successful, who've been successful, who are trying new things. They're trying to grow their business. And if people have been in the game for more than 15 years, they are wusses about live streaming. People come up with the most ridiculous reasons not to do it and why they don't like it. And it's all just like self-confidence. It's not having the experience to know that it's no different than anything else. And I just, I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but it's really fear of public speaking rearing its ugly head yet again, right? Like, needing that sense of people liking you and not wanting to look like a doofus in front of everybody. Like, going live, you do have to overcome that.
Yeah, and being one of those persons that, you told me probably 3 years ago that I needed to be live streaming every day, and I said, no way, I'm not doing it. And I'm very comfortable on camera, have been, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's a new thing.
But I just want to speak to a bunch of good stuff coming in. Like Marilyn Zink says, without guile means being without sly or cunning. So I could see how that has a direct relationship to the Hebrew's meaning of mask and not putting on airs, showing authentically who you are. And Andrew says, okay, we have a relative identity and absolute identity. We are all playing the relative game until we wake up and see that where the real power lies. I have to agree with you, but I tell you what, that's not something that comes easily that realization. That's taken me probably, from 2009 to a couple of years ago to really truly adopt that as my true inner guidance systems, like to agree with it. It's not at least it wasn't for me. So Jack says being the author of a book is awesome, but has very little credibility. Having a #1 bestseller, if it is in many languages, creates huge credibility and trust. Yes, and it still has a measure of credibility, just the fact that you have a book. And that whether it's self-published or not, gives you a certain, it's like standing on stage. It gives you a certain perceived status. Now, I'm not saying that you have instant, adherement to everything that you're saying, but it does allow that instant leverage to build on. And the same thing with live streaming.
I just realized that when you said that, Joshua, every now and again, now that my kids are getting a little older, they like hear me mention or reference something that I've accomplished or done in the past that happened when they were really young. And I don't
remember it.
No, I don't walk around and talk about all my business successes in front of my kids all the time. You know what I mean? It's not part of our conversation.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, but what I realize is I've published 3 books, and I don't think that they know that I've published one. And they're on my shelves, and they are not #1 bestsellers in multiple countries in multiple languages. But I was just thinking about, I can imagine the look on my kid's face where I'm like, did you guys know that I published 3 books? Here they are. I'm sure their jaws will drop. And so having a book absolutely is better than not, and amping it up is absolutely better than just having a book. 100%.
I mean, you've got to have the goods to back it up for sure. And you've got to have you got to be able to deliver on something. But for most people, I saw a stat when I was doing some work with in the author space and people that wanted to write a book, and it was amazing. But of the general population, I think it was 87% of the general population, at least in the US, wanted to write a book, felt like they had a book in them that they wanted to write. And so that's, about as universal a calling as it gets. Meaning, if you lined up 10 people, 8 or 9 of them feel like they would like to write a book about something and share something of themselves. But they haven't. And most, won't ever either. But the fact that you have a book that you can say, I am an author, I'm a published author or whatever, definitely has a certain cachet. Now, I think that's becoming less and less influential in the online world these days. And rightly so, frankly, because you've got to, but if you combine that with all the other things, the authenticity, the willingness to own up to your own, successes, failures, shortcomings, etc., and willingness to share what you've gone through and the trials and tribulations and, how you came to believe what you believe.
That's right.
That all in and of itself. And, when you talk about you don't have to be advanced or above anybody else to have credibility. You can create credibility by giving people a place to call home, by giving them a place to plug into, by interviewing people that have this skill because it's something that you want to learn.
So I'd like to issue, actually, first of all, who wants to get better at creating credibility for themselves and or their business online? If you want to get better at creating credibility, if you think that would be a valuable skill for you to improve on, just type credibility into the comments. I want to see if anybody actually wants to become more credible for your existing or for a new audience that you're building online in whatever area you're interested in. Is that something that you want? And if so,
Andrew, I'm always game to discuss stuff like that. I eat, sleep, and breathe for that kind of engagement. The question isn't whether I'm game. The question is everybody else game, and would anybody else find it as valuable as I?
That's right. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, Andrew, that what pops out at me, honestly, is rather than asking the question of, hey, how do we separate the two selves and deal with the discrepancy? And I would say those are the topics that you should be live streaming about, right? I mean, you are a deep thinking, philosophical dude. And these are the questions that you should be building your audience around, right? They're philosophical questions about the world, life, and what it means to be human, you know?
And actually, Andrew, I want to talk to you about something that I'm launching in very short order that I think I would love if you would be interested in being a guest on. I mean, it's right up this alley of conversation. I would love to just have the opportunity to shoot the shit, so to speak, with you on this.
Awesome. So if you guys are if you are interested in getting serious about developing more credibility for your audience as you build your list and you build your business, then I issue a challenge to you. And I'd like to know who's up for the challenge. It's called the 99-Day Challenge. And the 99-Day Challenge is a challenge for you starting today, not tomorrow, not the next day, today. The challenge is officially issued of doing a live stream every day. Doing a live stream every day to improve one area of your life. And most people decide that they're going to do a live stream to improve their online credibility, start building their audience and building their list. And you can talk about whatever your topic or niche is. The reality is you could talk about a hobby. Like one thing you could totally do is 99 days of hot sauce reviews. I would love to do that. That might be fun just to do. And so a big part about this is getting on camera consistently, interacting with your people and getting comfortable around it so you can get past all that resistance and start developing that inner credibility and that feeling that, oh, you do know what you're talking about and people do want to listen to you about it, in fact. And that comes through daily practice and repetition.
For sure.
Daily practice. And so we created a cool Facebook group called 99 Days that issues the challenge of, for 99 days, go and do a video on Facebook and then share it to the group as accountability to focus on building that connection, building that rapport, starting to build that traffic and build that audience. It's a great first step to building your list if you've been kind of on the fence. This is a great first step, and it's totally free.
And let's not forget about tomorrow's live web class training on the incredible internet business plan, because it's really all about how to build the business the right way, in a way that you can identify with, that you feel isn't sacrificing your vision or values. And it talks about how to, adjust for the what you call it, adjust for making sure that you have the credibility at the same time that you're building it out and you're building that relationship of trust and respect.
So this is really a two-prong approach. Number one, we're giving you a interactive group experience to get jump started, to get past some fears, and to really start reconnecting with your existing audience or building a new audience through Facebook live streaming. Okay, number one. So if you're interested in building your credibility and building your credibility muscles internally, comment 99 days and or shoot me Standby Max. That's coming up next. And shoot me a direct message in Facebook so I make sure that I see it, and we'll get you an invite to 99 days. The second thing is that we have a live, let me just caption that up. It's ETG Workshops, right?
Yeah. ETGworkshops.com will get you there.
Yeah, we got a live webinar tomorrow, doing a live workshop called The Perfect Incredible Internet Business Plan. And dude, this is crazy. So I'm not going to name any names, but I just had a call right before this live stream with a potential new client. We talked about them this morning. And they own his existing business, very successful existing business, got spanked by Corona.
Yeah.
Cut their multi-million-dollar business in half. This is a non-internet business. And so they're
looking to...
They're having a hard time, right? And I was like, what's up? We haven't talked in a few months. How's it going? You know? And this dude's like, I spent the last several months building our e-com store, got all the products in there, spent a lot of money, a lot of time, but I think it's good.
And
I'm like, so how can I help you, sir? And basically he's like, so you know, I'm like, do you want me to give you like the sit down talk that I'd give my friend if they just did what you just did, and like tell them what's up? He's like, yeah, that's what I want. I'm like, okay.
You sure? Be careful what you ask for.
And I'm like, dude, I'm doing a webinar on this tomorrow, and you got everything backwards. You're doing the whole thing based on common sense, and it's absolute idiocy.
Max, it's a Zoom call. So just go to etgworkshops.com, and we will, you know, it's tomorrow afternoon, and we may have a few tricks up our sleeves to extend it, but no promises. So if you want to be able to interact directly, and you know, through the Zoom chat and everything, I suggest that you get onto the live, you know, that get involved that way.
Yeah.
And Andrew, great. Thank you very much. I will, let's you know, touch base offline, and we can figure out, where to take it.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, the call is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, which I guess would be 11 a.m. Pacific. Right. And we're going to do a kind of a live group interactive workshop where you're going to begin building out your internet business plan, and to cover the 3 key areas, the 3 key puzzle pieces that you have to have in place in order to build a sustainable internet business based on your either existing business or your personal interests, passions, or dreams that will consistently bring in customers, bring in clients, and build a relationship with those people in an automated way and a systematic way over time. It's like the ultimate process. This is what I learned when I built my first $1 million business, and it's incredibly powerful. And I've seen so many people apply it over the years. If you have all the pieces in place, it makes a big difference. But the problem is, most people, awesome Max, most people they can figure out the 3 pieces. As a matter of fact, I want to know, can you guys figure out any of the 3 pieces? What do you think are the 3 critical things that you have to have in place in order to have a successful internet business? Name some. Like what do you need to do first? You know, what's something you need to do? Like, and guys, if you're wrong, I'm not going to like be a jerk about it. I'm just going to let you know it's not the right answer. So like, throw your hat in the ring. What are 1, 2, or 3 of the critical pieces that you absolutely must have in place in order to have a successful online business? Who's got a guess? Who's got a guess?
We've kind of been talking about some of it, but let's not use credibility and status and that type of thing. That may have a tangential relationship. Confidence for sure has a relationship with it. Belief, absolutely. But you know, when you get into the tactical things, what are the tactical principles of business in general? Just like some basic things that you need, particularly online.
Yeah. What does your business need to exist? Right.
An audience.
Oh, an audience.
Very good, Andrew.
All right. So Andrew, you've been paying attention. I know you've been paying attention because you've been a long-standing student of this stuff. So good answer. Good answer. Most people don't say that first, right? And Ruben, what's up? What's up?
What's happening?
Offer. So, you're right. That is one of the things, Ruben. I might call that a product, right? Something to sell, right? And an irresistible offer is a really good something to sell. And honestly, those 2 things, an audience and an offer or something to sell, a product to sell, are 2 of the key pieces. Those, like, you guys.
Right. And Jack said lots of affiliates with databases of their own. That's really kind of the same thing, right? Like influence over an audience.
Yep. Marilyn
be
says
able to
have an audience to sell to, or a way to attract an audience. Jack says, as you just said, lots of affiliates with database. So an audience, right? Max says the audience needs a solution. That's product to sell. So what else do you guys have here? Oh, we got Troy. What's up, Troy? Troy's sharing. Thank you, Troy. Much appreciated.
Yeah, you're awesome, man. I always say that I need to remember to do that, and with this new system, I forget.
That's right. That's right. So the three big pieces, I'll tell you what, you've named 2 out of the 3. Now, what does an internet business specifically need in order to even exist? It does need an audience. That is one of the 3. It does need a product, or in Ruben's case, he said an irresistible offer, which is a really
some
great
sort of service or product. Something.
Audience. Yeah.
Does it have to be your own though?
Doesn't have to be your own. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll let you know what the third one is. Almost good.
Well, traffic is kind of audience, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like getting the traffic there.
So traffic is part of your audience. First it's traffic, then they opt into your list, and then you own the traffic, right? That's true. Again, that comes back down to audience. Those are the people that are paying attention when you offer something, right? Being well-grounded. I would say that's definitely not true. Many of the successful internet entrepreneurs I know, myself included, are not particularly well-grounded. I think it could come in handy. I probably should.
Marilyn just said the third one.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Cotter, you need a way to capture our audience. So we call that the technology.
Yeah.
Right. The technology that you're going to use to make the whole business run, right? Whether it's building your list or selling your product. So that might be ClickFunnels. That might be Shopify. Gene has really gotten excited about Teachable, right? So there are many different platforms, like thousands of different platforms that you can use in order to host your list and sell your products. But it's the technology.
Which is a whole host of other, frustrations of like, how do you get all the systems that you need to talk to each other? And, how do you do this and how do you do that? And especially where, like, when you add live streaming to it, that's an element of the technology too.
That's right. That's right. Whoa, wait a second. Joshua just went away. I don't know where he went. Oh, now he's back. Where'd you go?
All of a sudden just Restream booted me out and then booted me back in. I'm not sure where, like group pages. Yeah, for sure, Max.
Yeah. So we've got these 3 elements, and my experience has been, and this was the conversation I had today. Also recently had this conversation with a guy that was starting a new CBD company. And the number one thing that people usually think about is the product. They want to figure out what the product or service is that you're going to sell. I mean,
which is important for sure. But
yeah, well, I mean, think about, like, if you're a lawyer and you go to law school, you go to grade school, you go to high school, you go to college, you go to grad school, then you go to law school. Or what about a doctor? Same thing. You spent like your entire childhood life into your 30s going to school, and then to get your product ready, your service ready, right? Morrow calling Orson.
Max, I don't get it.
I don't.
I want to laugh, but
I think that there's like a book I didn't read or something. Is this like an Orson Welles reference? Like, what is this?
I don't know. Right. But I have a feeling like I'm supposed to laugh at that, but I don't know what it means.
I'm more well-versed or well-read in something than I am. Well, you're not alone, Joshua. You're not alone. So going a little bit too far on the fringes there, Maxie.
Or just bring us into the loop. I want to be included. Please let me in. More.
All right. Yeah. I'm a little bit too young for that. I mean, I watched some reruns, but it was when
but I didn't. I don't know. Oh, Mork calling Orson.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Morrow. Okay. That. All right. Never mind. I'm with you. Nanu.
That's right. So, what are we talking about now? Anyway, point being, thank you for the comic relief.
Well, Marilyn, mentioned Mr. Carter.
That's right.
And so Max had to, bring Mork into the mix. So,
I want to point out how powerful fictional characters are. I bet does anyone know who created Mork and Mindy? Does anyone know the name? But the person that created the show.
Gary, what's his face? Marshall.
Oh, you know the answer. I didn't know the answer. I wonder who created Welcome Back, Kotter.
That I don't know.
I don't either. Oh, you better be sorry, Max. You better be sorry. So the point here is that what usually happens, and the reason most businesses fail, is because they focus on these 3 key puzzle pieces in the wrong order. And so we're going to be sharing the right order and how you can focus on building your business in the right sequence, in the right way, in a completely customized, personalized way to you, so that you don't end up making all the wrong mistakes that make it so hard for so many people, where they put all their time, all their effort, all their resources, all their money into the wrong thing in the wrong sequence, and they end up shit's creek without a paddle, for lack of a better term. And as you said, building building what in the middle of a desert?
It's a billboard in the middle of a desert. You spend all this time trying to create this brilliance, and you probably do. Gabe Kaplan, he was the. Did he create it? I know he was the star of it, but I didn't know he was the creator of it. Where you spend all the time working to create the business, and that you don't spend any time thinking about how to get that business exposed, and how to, create the right offer to the right people, and how to get it in front of that irresistible offer in front of people.
That's right.
These
all work together. They don't work independently. You have to.
And it's like, if you lead with one over the other, but then focus on all of it, then all of it synergistically feeds to the other, and it improves the whole thing. Whereas if you start with the wrong end and you think linearly, then you're trying to complete, something that is never going to be completed, and you're not thinking about the whole big picture.
That's right. That's right. Very cool, guys. So if you want to join us for the incredible internet business plan, so that you can begin developing your incredible internet business plan,
Vinny Barbarino.
We are on in 22 hours from now. You can go to etgworkshops.com, and you can join Joshua and myself on a live Zoom call tomorrow. We're going to be walking through the whole process and sharing a lot more of these ideas in detail with you.
I think I saw Marilyn's name on that list, if I'm not mistaken.
It is entirely possible. It is entirely possible. That's right. All right. Anybody else have anything smart to say? John Travolta was in Welcome Back, Kotter in 1975.
Yes, he was. That's why I said Vinny Barbarino.
Barbarino. Nice. Cool, guys. Well, thank you for all of the hilariousness.
Shazam.
That's right.
Who remember The Greatest American Hero?
Dude, I have the box set. I love.
Was Shazam from The Greatest American Hero, or is that something?
Shazam is also his own superhero. There's a superhero called Shazam that's wicked old school.
Yeah.
And then I think there's maybe even another character
there's an app called Shazam.
Yeah, there's Shazam all over the place. Like Shazam is everywhere.
And then there's Shabambo.
There is Shabambo. That's specifically trademarked by Tellman. What?
I said TM.
That's right. TK. All right, everybody. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. That's right. I'm going to rewatch The Greatest American Hero now.
I used to love that show.
So silly.
BJ and the Bear.
I don't know that. BJ
McKay and his best friend Bear.
Is that from that show?
Yeah.
I clearly don't have it burned into my brain like you do.
When I was Bazinga, yeah, that's not quite as old school there. But when I was growing up, I didn't have a TV in my formative years, and so like anytime I would go over to a friend's house, I would just be glued to the TV. And when I turned, I guess it was maybe 13 or 14, my family bought a small little black and white with the rabbit ears.
Yeah.
And it was like, they had to put a limit on the amount of TV that I was allowed to watch because I felt so deprived.
Right.
And I remember watching BJ and the Bear, and $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman. And
for a while I owned $6millionman.com because it was just available, but then I let it expire when I was doing the Great Domain Purge. Dude. Yeah, for anybody for anyone who hasn't heard this, like at one point I owned 2,800 domains and I wasn't even like a domain guy. Like I wasn't doing anything with most of them. I
wasn't far behind you, but I wasn't
$30,000 a year for domains that were just parked. It was so stupid for years.
Yeah.
Years.
I've got a bad addiction to them too.
But like an awesome college fund.
I got up below 300. You know that?
I have less than 100 now.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working on it.
I've gotten really good at just not looking up domains that I want. I just don't do it anymore.
I know.
All right, everybody. Great seeing you. Awesome interaction.
Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it.
That's right. And I reissue you the challenge. Do you accept the challenge? Every day for 99 days, building your credibility, building your confidence, building your following, and building your list.
Andrew, it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York City, East Coast.
Yeah, which is maybe like 8 p.m. or something your time, I think.
Yeah, I forget what the time difference is. 5 hours, maybe?
Right? Yeah. ETGworkshops.com, Andrew, to go and register for that. All right.
2,800 domains. Yeah, I didn't have 2,800, but I had almost 2,000.
So stupid. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Max is going to take the 99-day challenge.
Woohoo!
Awesome, Max. So do me a favor and just type pound 99 days into the comments so everybody sees that someone is saying they have the guts to take the challenge, and maybe somebody else will follow in your footsteps, unless everybody else is just too wussy. Are you too wussy to take the challenge? Why are you being so wussy about growing your business? I think we should do a wussy series. It will really attract the right kind of people. It'll be great.
Yeah, I think that's all your domain. You can have wussy.com, and I'll leave you to it.
Don't be a wussy. Take the 99-day challenge. Don't be a wussy. Thank you, Max. Thank you.
Handheld high. Yep, I hear you. All right, man. It's been a wonderful time, and I will see everybody tomorrow, hopefully.
Dude, do you want to take a minute to jabber about what we were talking about before this live stream on the phone?
I do, but I need to handle some things directly. And then what does your schedule look like in about a half hour?
We can probably do that. Shoot me a text and we'll try to circle back. If not today, then tomorrow. But cool.
Sounds great.
All right. Toodles, everybody. Have a great evening.
Yeah.
And it's a little premature, but happy Halloween. Get your mask on.
Hanukkah.
Happy
That's
Halloween.
really premature.
When does Hanukkah? Yeah, I thought, yeah. All right. Bye.
Yeah.